I'm Donna.
And I'm Bruce. And this is Lyrical Wisdom.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Lyrical Wisdom, where we dive into song lyrics and offer heart-based wisdom through our interpretations. If you enjoy what you're hearing, don't forget you can catch every episode of Lyrical Wisdom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just search Lyrical Wisdom Show. Do you have a song you'd like to hear us shed some light on? You can email us requests, questions, comments to lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on a YouTube video. We'd really love to hear from you. And all requests get an episode and a shout out.
So join us every Tuesday and Friday as we dig deep and deliver our wisdom. And thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing to Lyrical Wisdom. Good morning, Bruce. I am so happy to be here.
Me too. Thank you for saying that. I am too. Good morning to you too, Don.
Thank you. And good morning, each and every one of you, or good afternoon, or good evening.
Yeah, whatever
time it is when you are live with us here now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here now with us as we share little wisdom.
Yeah. Just a little
Shine
bit.
some light on some lyrics.
Yeah.
Do I sound like I'm talking real country?
Maybe a little, but that isn't for me to say. I would just have to say that we are definitely in the zone today to talk about this really wonderful song today.
I know. I love this song. I really, really do. And you know, Bruce, I don't think we do country a lot on here.
We have, but I think that this is the first song that when we tell everybody what we're doing and who it is, they're going to be like, oh, my goodness, that is a country song. And yes,
I am a country girl at heart, and I know this song by heart.
Well, and
so I'm excited to do this.
We all are in our own ways, you know, but I am excited about this too, because I remember listening to this song and enjoying how the feeling I got from this song, listening to it, made me feel in the times that I was enjoying it. It seemed like it was perfect. And it
brings a little joy in the moment.
It really does.
Listening. I really do.
Yeah.
I think so.
It conjures up memories, nostalgia, images of the past that I think makes us think of good things.
Yes.
And sometimes when people remember good things, sometimes they remember the things that they don't have. But I would just have to say that this song is definitely a comment on living in the moment.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
In this moment, we're going to fry some chicken.
Yay. I love fried chicken. I really do.
Welcome to the South. Chicken Fried by Zach Brown. You know I like my chicken fried. A cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio up. Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine. And that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine where the peaches grow. And my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in southern ground. And a little bit of chicken fried, a cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. Well, I've done seen the sunrise, seen the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a peace of mind. This I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me. Raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried, a cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. Well, I've done seen the sunrise, seen the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. I thank God for my life and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. Well, I've done seen the sunrise, seen the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. Get your little chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. Well, I've done seen the sun rise, seen the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love.
Wow.
I love this song. I really wanted to sing it for y'all, but I'm, I don't think you want me to sing it for you.
Well, it would be lovely if you did, and it wouldn't sound, it wouldn't be that
Yeah,
bad. It's
I love it. I
do
love
too.
this song. I love
too.
my chicken fried.
I love this song
Who
too.
doesn't like chicken fried,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, there may be somebody out there that doesn't eat fried chicken, but that's okay. I just know that this song is a little bit more, it's about more than just eating fried chicken.
Oh, I know.
It's, there's a lot of symbolism, there's a lot of metaphor, there's a lot of things that are brought up to remind us of things that we love and things that we feel, and the love that we feel. Those things are all put into this song in a way that really appeals to a lot of people.
Right. I think the whole song is about don't forget about the little things in life that bring you joy.
And they aren't taken away by anybody.
Right.
Nobody can take them away from anybody.
Except for you.
You
yourself.
are the only one, yeah. And so if you are afraid of losing your chicken fried and your cold beer on the Friday night and the pair of jeans and all of these things, then that's because you're afraid that you're going to take them away from you. Nobody else is going to, take anything away from anybody. It's just you. Mm-hmm. You're the only one that's capable of doing that in most cases.
And fear is one way you can take it away.
Yes, that is absolutely
because
true.
we draw to us
we do.
What we put out there.
Yeah.
I really, I do know that. And I love this. I can't eat fried chicken anymore, by the way. I just can't.
Oh.
I had my gallbladder removed.
Oh.
And so I can't eat, foods that are fried and all the grease. I just can't process it right.
Oh, right.
So the fact that I can't eat fried chicken anymore doesn't really affect me because I still love fried chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I have a memory of it, and I remember, the best thing about it is when you make that country gravy.
Oh, yeah.
After you fry the chicken.
Oh, my gosh.
It's and it's not just the fried chicken. It's about mom in the kitchen, making the fried chicken and the child watching and smelling it, the smell, and, sometimes it can stay in the house for days.
It can. That's a very wonderful comment because I remember growing up, we would describe each other's houses as like, oh yeah, your house smells like soup because people were cooking, and so it was like that constant, like, kind of food smell that you always knew that you would sense when you walked into. It could be your grandparents' house, it could be
Right.
your friend's house. It's a very very pleasing and pleasant smell. And
It's
yeah,
the
I
nostalgia of the time,
it's the symbol.
of that
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
of, taking that first bite
Oh
of the
yeah.
fried chicken.
Oh yeah. Taking that first sip of coffee in the morning or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then, of course, a cold beer on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say a beer.
No.
You have to have a
A cold beer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and how many ways are there to have a cold beer? I could just say that, some people chill the glass that they're drinking out of, or they get something that you put in the
frosty
freezer,
mug.
a frosty mug. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do certain things to make that beer stay cold with like a cozy or
tastes
something.
better.
And it tastes better that way. Yeah. It's not a warm beer on a Friday night. It's a cold beer.
And it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
It's not a Saturday night, a Sunday night, a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, or a Thursday night. But for me, the reason why it's a Friday night is it's the end of a work week.
It's the end of the work week, but we're also put into a position where what happens on Friday nights, Friday night lights. Friday night is one of the nights that, well, people go to the high school football game.
Right. Traditionally, it is the night because it's the weekend.
Yep.
You have Saturday and Sunday to recover, to rest, and to just be. So Friday night is when you let your hair down. And you stay out all night.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Yeah. And I love this next part because going through all of those wonderful things and the radio up. We hadn't quite gotten to the radio up part because a lot of times nowadays we have technology that kind of gets in the way of this whole sentiment, but we still have people listening to music.
Yes.
And that is something that when you talk about the radio up, it's because at one time that was where you listened to your music.
Oh yeah.
You turned your radio on and that's what you listened to.
You just had a transistor radio.
Yeah. And I don't even know how many channels got put out there at first. I just know that, at first with radios, they were like an appliance. You had it like rolled into your house and set up a little bit like you might have an armoire put in your bedroom from a fancy like place that sells furniture.
Right.
Because it was a big box thing. Like
right.
Then television became like that. But how many channels did you really have?
The car is another place.
Oh my goodness.
Because
yeah.
I mean, that's how I envision the radio up too. Is you're driving to go see your friends. You actually have freedom.
Yes.
Because you're done with the work week. You're done with all the responsibilities of you felt life is calling you to do, and it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
So you can have have dinner, have your fried chicken, have a cold beer, jump in your car, turn the radio up, and just let loose,
And maybe not in that order, but like I just at the same time, like you're right.
But we're skipping the best part, Bruce. Let's talk about this. Come on now. I'm sitting in a pair of jeans right now.
Of course.
It's like, everybody, it doesn't have to be jeans because I know growing up, I wasn't allowed to wear jeans. I think a lot of schools didn't allow you to wear jeans to school. I'm talking about a while ago, guys.
Well, shoot, if you watch the TV show The Little Rascals, those little boys ran around in suits. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if anybody watches old black and white TV shows or movies, but the men back then in those days wore like the children and the men like wore suits all the time. Mm-hmm. It makes me look back and think, wow, what a wardrobe choice, So I guess that's what was comfortable for them. But I got to admit, I agree with you. A comfortable outfit, what you are comfortable in, the skin that you put yourself in to be comfortable.
That's what I think we are getting at here, Bruce.
Yes.
I love that. A pair of jeans that fit just right.
Yes. Yeah.
It fits so good, it feels like another layer of skin. In other words, it doesn't necessarily, it's not binding you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not pinching you. It's not like sagging, hanging off.
Yeah.
It's like, there used to be an expression about it fits her like a glove.
Yes.
Or fits him like a glove.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's saying here.
Yeah.
Is that when you can be yourself in whatever you're wearing, and whatever you're wearing fits you so perfectly that you're just your authentic you.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to shine through, yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing holding you back. There's nothing binding you, pinching you,
Yeah.
or making you feel like you're being watched or judged is the word I'm looking for. Because I'm also thinking about, I can remember like my brother complaining because he grew a little bit over the summer. And when he went to school, his pants were right above his ankle. I think they're called high waters these days, And it's like you get made fun of. People, so this having a pair of jeans that fit just right for me is being able to step out into the world as your authentic self.
Feeling like those things make it better. Yes. Yeah. It's true. And that's, that's one of the things about this that is it's an incredible look into how we can really appreciate that moment. I agree. Like just feeling like, because that is something that is real. I remember not knowing that wearing high water pants was funny until somebody laughed at me wearing them. And then I found out, then it's like, oh, okay. I guess I need to get
I won't do that again.
I need a pair of jeans that fit just right, But I love that. And the radio up, I was thinking too that like the radio being turned up, it's just simply like a sign of people getting together, almost like singing karaoke and just enjoying that song and singing it together, and that is a part of what I think that we have in the song too, is a look into how people feel like they harmonize with each other.
I was going to say, Bruce, out of the 70 trillion cells that make up the physical body, each and every individual cell is light, sound, and vibration. And for me, turning that radio up is acknowledging sound, acknowledging the music that we are.
Yeah.
And like you said, coming together, harmonizing in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. And it, some people would say, like in some cases you could think of it as like I don't want to call it an echo chamber, but some people think of it like we're isolating ourselves in moments like that. But honestly, this is all about reaching out and enjoying things with other people.
This is about letting your music shine.
Yeah.
Being loud and proud of being you.
And that's true. And in some ways, some people might think, well, on the other side of that, that's also acknowledging that there is an uncertainty behind it. How loud do you proclaim how happy you are, and how loud do you say you love all this stuff, and without kind of exposing your deeper what do we call it, fear of being, because we're so afraid of something along those, and something in there is making us feel a little unsure, so we're going to yell it as loud as we can because we want to make sure we put up that super strong defense.
Right.
Because we're almost afraid of being judged.
Yes. Well, I'm sure many of us grew up with parents that would holler down in, the hallway, or if you lived downstairs, if you lived upstairs, if you were in the garage, turn that music down.
Yeah.
So you're right. How high do you turn the radio up?
Yeah.
But for this particular song, I know that quite literally, he's just out. Zach Brown is saying, tonight I'm going to live, and
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
live, joyfully. I'm going to have what I love, and I'm going to do what I love. And I'm going to
Yes.
turn my radio up.
Yeah.
Because he's a good old Southern boy. Because, well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine. And that's home. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine where the peaches grow. So Georgia is known, it's called the Peach State. So, I mean, he's describing his home here.
Yeah.
And I also love the fact that he said a shade of a Georgia pine. Pine trees are just everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
In Georgia.
Yeah.
We live here in Georgia. Thank you all for tuning in to us wherever you are. And we right now are, I think this time of year, everything turns yellow because of those Georgia pines. But it's home, It's home. And the shade helps the burning sun.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think there's something, more. The reason why he said the shade of a Georgia pine was because he's saying, I'm protected still.
That's true. That's true.
I can get that relief, that shade when the sun is so hot and burning, there's home has that aspect of having protection.
Yeah, well, and it also has very specific things that people there specifically like. That also begs the question, well, what if you don't like sweet tea, pecan pie, or peaches?
Right.
Like, what if you're from Georgia and you don't like those things?
Or you don't drink wine.
Or and it's and that's the other thing is I think that when he says those things, that's this is a song that is also an anthem for some
I agree.
that really embrace it as a lifestyle. And so there are other options, and those are also beautiful options. So let's say you don't subscribe to the fact that pine straw is something that to use for your yard. Maybe you've just never thought of that because maybe where you grew up, that's not what you had because you didn't have those pine trees. That's a real thing. So, some people out there, they might not be crazy about peaches, but that's another thing. That's a beautiful thing because, this is something that definitely has an anchor in this state and in this area for what is really, it is a part of a lifestyle, a little bit of a, what do they call that when we talk about different cultures? It's like a colloquialism. That's the word I'm looking for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good word, Bruce.
It's and that's you can hear it in the way people have. I'm sure that people here in Georgia would admit to having a Southern accent that's different than Alabama, which is our next door neighbor.
Right.
I'm sure they would say they're different than South Carolina, which is our other next door neighbor, or Tennessee, which is just north of us, or, Florida, which is south of us. So, I think that those differences are beautiful, but also, we can all maybe it doesn't resonate with you that it's all about these things here. Maybe for you, like me, you love, instead of sweet tea, I love a cup of coffee. I'm not a big tea fan, but I do love pecan pie. So, but that's what I mean.
Some people may prefer apple.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever that thing is, because really this is about.
This is about just acknowledging what brings you joy.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for
and
filling in
his
that gap.
house, it's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
In other words, I came from humble beginnings.
Yes.
And it's filled with love that's grown in Southern ground.
Yeah.
So I think the one reason why he may have said Southern ground is because I know there is a stigma that is attached to the South. It's called Southern hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
there's just something about the South where you invite people into your home.
Yeah.
Come on over, have some lemonade, have some tea, have a slice of pecan pie,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there is this hospitable energy
Yeah.
that has been grounded and rooted in the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's what he is saying here is,
Yeah.
my house isn't much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in Southern ground. So, and I love it because he starts the song off with, you know, I like my chicken fried.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he talks about, this is who I am.
Uh-huh.
And a little bit of chicken fried.
Yep.
So he's saying, this is where I learned, how to like my chicken and all. Because the love that's grown in Southern ground and a little bit of chicken fried.
Yeah.
And a cold beer on a Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
So he's, but then he adds after that, well, I've done seen the sunrise. Seen the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. So I've done seen, that's not very good English.
Well, but it's just a way of saying it,
Right. In other words, he's not finished seeing the sunrise, guys. Yeah. What he's saying is he has witnessed it. I've done seen it. I've really, really seen a sunrise. In other words, I've been with the sun. I've experienced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a sunrise.
Yeah.
And he sees the love in his woman's eyes.
He feels that return. He feels the love coming back on him.
And I don't know about any of you all, but I do know for sure that when you hold a brand new baby, when you feel the touch of a precious child, for me, I say you're touching God. Because in that moment, that child, like you were coming out of the womb, they're just pure love.
Oh, yeah.
In that moment, they haven't been, what's the word? They haven't been taught to be this way or be that way or say this or say that. There's no structures in there. They are just pure innocence.
Yeah.
And to hold a child is the most beautiful blessing of feeling love that you can.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Really, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that line, feel the touch of a precious child, is definitely, and to know a mother's love.
It's a glorious comment on the golden goose and that lays the golden egg. And that is probably going to sound like it's diminishing, but it's not, because the mother and the child here are the most precious things on the planet, because that is God and God creating life, and both entities are basically showing every human being where everything comes from. That is just, it's irrefutable, and that is one of the most beautiful things about this, is that from the love in the woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. That's 3 different generations of God's creation.
I was going to say it's creation.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, not what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a peace of mind. I love that. You can't buy it. You can't buy peace.
No, you can't.
It only comes from within.
It does.
And this is so literal, there's really no explanation needed. It is truth
Yeah.
in its simplest form.
That's true.
Meaning that, it's really funny, guys, how it's the little things in life that mean the most.
Yeah.
We keep looking and looking and looking for the greener grass on the other side, bigger and better things. What can I fill this void that I'm feeling with? A bigger car, a bigger house.
Yeah.
That's not what, it's the little things that mean the most.
No, you're absolutely right.
When you sit and really go inside and look and
that's
say,
true.
what brings me joy?
That's true.
A sunrise.
It's true.
Love in a partner's eyes.
Yeah.
A touch of a precious child.
Yeah.
And a mother's love.
Yeah. No, I agree. This I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me and raise your glasses for a toast. And it goes right into, a
little bit of chicken fried.
Yeah.
So, I love the way he takes that analogy of joy.
Yeah.
And at first this is my joy, I like. And then it's and now we're to. So we're raising and we're toasting to joy.
Yeah.
Yep, to a little bit of chicken fried. And then he goes on to say, I thank God for my life and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly, let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones who give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, which are fried chicken.
Yes.
In this song, it's the fried chicken.
Yeah. No, but this is, once again, it's just, it's a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a metaphor because this is very literal, and just kind of trying to express gratitude in the way that Zach Brown kind of knows how. So, that is one thing, you know what I mean? That's a lot of gratitude and a lot of love for the things that Zach Brown feels like brings this sense of security and freedom and, things that he appreciates, because of that security that he feels like he's been provided.
And it is where, his roots are Southern ground, the southern part of the United States. And because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the Stars and Stripes here, the United States of America. And in other countries, I think there are some countries that have limitations. And, they can't have fried chicken. They can't have jeans that fit just right. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So this is, for me, this is his way of saying thank you, that I appreciate the freedoms that we do have here in the United States of America.
Oh, yeah.
There are things we're not free.
Yeah. Well, I could give you examples of people that went to Russia and they found out that people that lived in Russia were very curious if they could buy the jeans from the American tourists that would arrive in Russia because they didn't have the same kind of jeans over there. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to buy jeans from American tourists at that time. At that time, that was something that I know people experienced. They arrive in Russia, they have Russians asking if they can buy their jeans off of them. So there's one. And then in Cuba, I knew somebody who said, you can't have Coca-Cola in Cuba. At the time when he lived there and then moved and became a United States citizen, came to the United States and realized that, you can't have certain things because they don't have Coca-Cola there. So there's different examples everywhere you can go. And that's one of the things that is true. We have like certain things here, that we all are grateful for, and the things that we can also look to and know that they are some of the reasons behind why we have what he says in here, the freedoms that we live with.
Right.
I have every male in my family, I'm the only one that hasn't served in the military. My father and all of my entire family has served in the military, and so I always thank them for their service. My uncle used to work for the Veterans Association. He would travel all over the country to try to help veterans out, and so we all have that gratitude, and we all have that within us. And I believe that, when it gets down to the deep appreciation of what we
Yes.
experience in our lives, this is that like moment of mantra, moment of affirmation. It's that affirmation that, is a part of this song.
Right. And I know how powerful gratitude is.
Yes.
How
yes.
powerful it is
Yeah.
when you are manifesting or, calling in your joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's appreciation of all those little things.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bed to sleep on, a pillow for my head.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the little things that, the running water so I can brush my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Going into that state of appreciation is powerful. The energy that is created in our bodies
yeah.
when we are in a state of gratitude
Oh, yeah.
is what, amplifies the joy
Yes.
and
Yeah.
draws more to us. We're calling in things that we love.
Absolutely.
And I love, because my father did 2 tours in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I do understand this. And I do thank and salute all the ones who died, the ones that gave their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like
Our chicken fried.
chicken fried.
Yeah.
And the cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans, the radio up, the sunrise, love in our partner's eyes,
Yeah.
the touch of a precious child, and a mother's love.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing about this though is that this is just one vision. This is just one person's feelings about these things. This is one way that Zach Brown feels about this. This is not the definition of what that is for every person.
Right.
Because other people may not feel as connected to a supreme being as God. They may not feel as connected to eating fried chicken, or they may not even drink beer. This is just, and we live in a new era where we have iPhones and different types of ways of listening to music. It is way too constricting to tell all of you that this is the only way and this is the recipe, because it is not. It is how you decide to find all of these things within you, just like Zach Brown did with this song.
Yes, and that is so wonderful that you said that, Bruce, because in my head I was like, yeah, there are thousands of
There's so
different
many.
recipes to make fried chicken.
Well,
Come on.
And then, honestly, some people some people love sushi.
Yeah.
So I don't know how opposite that is from fried chicken. I'm just going to say that it
Opposite?
isn't. It's very, very different. And I just, I think that it's fair to say
Find
that.
your joy.
Yes, thank you.
That is what he is saying here.
Yeah.
Find your joy,
Find your
because
joy.
he says it right here. So, it's the last lyric or the last, stanza of this whole song. He's first going into that state of gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried.
Yep.
And then he goes right into get your little chicken
Yes.
fried.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't have to be the a whole bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
It's get your little chicken fried. Find that one thing that brings you joy in life and focus on it.
Yeah.
Allow it to come in and enjoy it and be grateful for it.
Yes. And if I can say, Don't, feel like somebody else is wrong just because they don't see the thing that you do, because they may have found their little chicken fried and their cold beer on a Friday night in something else, and you can actually find harmony and connection in appreciating the differences rather than looking at them like they are, terrible things. We should love each other's differences like that, because that is, to me, what he says there too. He says, get your little chicken fried and get your cold beer on a Friday night, get your jeans that fit just right, and get that thing that makes you feel that music and that harmony, because we've all seen the sunrise and we've all experienced love in our partner's eyes, and we've all felt the touch of a precious child, and we all of us, there isn't a single one of us that doesn't know a mother's love.
Right.
There isn't a single one of us, because if we're born into this world, we are loved by our mother. There's no other way of looking at it.
Some people, I'm going to really quick flip the coin real quick. Some people are like, well, I was adopted. Obviously my mother didn't love me because she gave me up when I was born, I believe that what he is speaking of here in a mother's love is that unconditional love
Yes.
from creation.
Yes.
And
yes. I'm with you.
It's Gaia, it's nature, it's life itself.
Yes.
That mother's love that he is speaking of is our godmother, the mother that creates us.
And it could be the adopted. It could be the adopted mother. It could actually be the love to allow the child to be born. There's a lot of things. There's so many different things. But the reality is that if you're here, then you have you have
the love of Gaia.
You have a mother's love. Yeah, a mother's
yes,
love. And so
yes.
I think that is one of the most beautiful things about the song, and I know that's why both of us chose it, because like for each of us, I have to admit to all of you, this song like makes us get goosebumps. It's so literal and so simple, but it's got so much to it.
It just brings me joy, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really does. I hope we brought a little joy to you all here today. Thank you so much for joining us here on Lyrical Wisdom.